Hey everyone, J7Jace here, bringing you a video about the history and rules of the Final Fantasy Tactics Solo Class Challenge and Solo Straight Character Challenge. As for when this actually began, who knows, but the first recorded thing that was documented was all the way back in 2007 on GameFaqs, and it gives a brief history and overview of it, with some people claiming they have done this challenge, with the only things being incomplete are the SSCCs of the Mime and the Bard. But let's talk about what these two challenges are first. A solo class challenge is where all your characters or party members can be only one type of job or class, besides guests of course, and that they can only use abilities found in that particular job class. An SSCC is similar, however, you are only allowed to use Ramza, which makes it a lot more gut-wrenching. There are some of these runs and videos on YouTube which include my Dark Knight playthrough, which I wanted archived. I show all the grinding and even some of my mistakes and fails. However, arguably the most famous SSCC is the Archer SSCC by Archail7. It's no longer on YouTube, where he showed all his wins and failures, but the re-uploader guy has the first few episodes. As for the challenge, even if you know the game very well, this kind of thing requires a lot of RNG, resets, as well as a lot of free time. So it's time to talk about the particular rules of this challenge here. First off, the party may consist of only a Ramza and guests, and Ramza must obtain the job class before Door to Trade City, and remain in this class for the rest of the game. I went a different route and just put in Dark Knight at Garland, and had some creative liberties with the equipment, as I thought it would be more fun personally. So if you consider this as me breaking the rules, all good, because J7J sucks. Either way, all these rules also apply to the straight class challenge as well. So for example, if you want to do a samurai only challenge run, all your characters must have samurai before Dorter. Next, Ramza cannot use any other abilities of any other class at all. So any support, movement, and reaction skills must come from his own job class. So, for example, if you're doing a Dark Knight only run, you can only use things like Vehemence, HP boost, and Jump +3. Or if you have females in your party in this case, Move +3, since female Dark Knights get this ability. Third, here are some limitations on your party. Special characters are not allowed, as their enhanced growth rate can dilute the challenge, and all generics who aren't going to be used must be removed as well. Although I think using unique characters can still be fun and a challenge, especially against certain bosses, and I personally have several videos in mind for the future before and after the release of the Ivalice Chronicles, so stay tuned for that. For this next section, we're going to be going over level caps. So in this document or challenge, high leveling up is not allowed, or it's going to be restricted depending on the chapter you're in. So the following level caps have been set here. So in chapter 1, the level cap is 20, chapter 2, it's 35, in chapter 3, it's level 50, and in chapter 4, it's level 70, before Malone or Moran Death City. Here are a few notes and rules. So breaking the level cap to exceed the value before the chapter is over will disqualify you from this challenge. So for example, getting to level 20 in chapter 1 isn't breaking the cap, but getting to level 21 is. The accepted practice is that you may exceed level 70 at any time in the final underground basement series of battles. Now honestly, I think this part again is very silly, as leveling up this way is just slow, and being level 99 before all of these, or in this particular battle, is not as tough, as these enemies don't really ruin the challenge. Levels in Final Fantasy Tactics don't make as big of a difference compared to other RPG games, so I feel getting to level 99 outside of this place before entering is fine to me. So if you're considering on doing this challenge or anything like that, from here on out, and this is me saying it, feel free to get level 99 before the final series of battles. You're completely fine and you're legit. Now, on the topic of guests, to make this more clear, guest characters can become whatever you wish. Like having a strong Argath or Algus and Delita are pretty much required to beat some of the early battles for many of these class challenges, and keep in mind that guest characters may be stripped of their equipment, and this also applies to characters that join your party. So for example, let's just say you're doing a Knight or Dark Knight challenge run, you can recruit Orlando, take his equipment, and then dismiss him. Since we're still on the topic of things that can be recruited or things that can join, let's talk about monsters. So monsters also can't join you. Like if you're using a mediator or order, you can use, invite to bring one into the battle, but after the battle, you have to immediately kick the monster. When it comes to altering Brave and Faith, at no time may Ramza or any other character may change their bravery or faith unless their job class has this ability. So for example, if you're a mediator or order, then you're free to change your Brave and Faith stat with their abilities. And also in terms of storyline decisions and choices, such as not saving Argath or saving Boko, those are completely fine in regards to your bravery. So here are my final thoughts on the SSCC, or the Straight Class Challenge. Overall, to me, it's another way to replay the game. I honestly think the SSCC isn't the best, as it requires so much RNG from things like having an enemy turn into a crystal, you needing to avoid a certain number of attacks, being so limited, and so on. Even if you're really skilled or know the game really well, it still requires a lot of RNG and a large number of fights. However, I do think the straight class challenge, such as only doing archers and knights, is a fun one that isn't as limiting, and it's nowhere near as kaizo as the SSCC. So anyone who does this kind of challenge, I respect you to heaven and back, as this one requires a lot of thinking, strategizing, and planning, and also a lot of resets and RNG, especially if you're doing an SSCC of something insane, like an archer, thief, and so on. Now, if you want to watch some of these challenge runs, I'll be posting some of these in the description and in the comments of this channel, so please go take a watch. You'll get to see some sick and amazing plays. And if you made it this far into my video, consider subscribing to the channel. I primarily do Final Fantasy Tactics, and I reply back to everybody, unlike the rest of the YouTubers out there. Again, thank you so much all for watching this video, and I wish you all the best when it comes to your health, wealth, and happiness. Take care, and I'll see you all next time.